Hi guys, and welcome to Mac Tutorial 7. I have guests on this thingy. Gabriel and David.
Hey guys.
Hey.
You said hey twice, but anyway. Today, we're going to talk about the voiceover utility. And what you can customize in there, and what I prefer to customize.
Mute.
Okay, then. I think we're all hyper tonight, so don't be surprised if this tutorial lasts for a long time.
Maybe 3 hours.
Yeah, but the good thing is this channel can handle it. So, to get to your VO utility, it's Control Option F8, and
Or, in my case, it's Shift and 2-finger rotate clockwise.
yes, we will get into the trackpad commander in
Very soon.
yes, in another tutorial, because that's a whole nother thing in itself. Rate 70%. And we'll get into keyboard commander as well. So let me slow down my speech.
I just put it at 55.
Yep, that's what I'm going to do. So, let's hop into VO Utility. I'm on my Mac Mini here, as you can tell, and I'm on the mixer again. So I'm going to hop into VO Utility here. Oops, if I can hit the right... Oh, there it goes. It didn't say opening VO Utility. Voiceover Utility. Okay. So, in the general, there's nothing that I can figure in here. Nothing at all. You can look through it yourself. Look in the help topic. There's a help button at the end of every window. Help button. And you just hit that, and you can view the help topics that Apple gives you. Okay? So, another neat thing that you can do, within here at least, you can use the command and the number keys to navigate through all the different preferences. So, if I just hit command 2, verbosity, it takes me to the preference that I actually want to look at. So, I'm going to go to the verbosity preference.
Speech selected tab 1 of 5
and
announce hint default speech verbosity medium default.
From within here, I do change a couple things. For one, I set the verbosity to medium. Let me
Menu bar night about silent mode.
Do that.
Silent mode check.
We will talk about Twitter applications in another thingy. But yeah.
The medium.
So I set that to medium, and then I go
additional speech verbosity options. Uncheck checkbox.
I go ahead and check this.
Check additional speech verbosity options checkbox.
Because there is something that I change.
Custom verbosity table.
Now in this table, I just interact with it. And I'm going to go
Control,
to the
app,
very top.
App.
And I'm going to go down to where it says heading.
Button, checkbox, column, combo, disclosure, dot item, drawer, heading, image, heading.
Okay, and I'm going to VO right from here. I just use VO down arrow to get to it while interacted with the table. And I'm going to use Control Option right arrow.
Verbosity custom menu button.
Now, verbosity custom. There are several options in here. Let's go in here.
Menu.
Okay, so within here,
Default.
we have default, low, medium, high,
checkmark, custom,
and custom. So let's go in custom.
Press select a checkbox to enable.
Okay, so from within here,
select a checkbox to enable or disable an item. To reorder the items, use command up arrow and command down arrow.
So it says check or uncheck a checkbox to deselect or select an item, or blah 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 blah, whatever. Or you can use command up arrow or command down arrow to reorder your items. Now I reorder the items, and I'm going to give you a demonstration afterwards.
Item order table.
So item order. Let's interact with this table.
Interact with item order table. Row 1. Item order. Item order name. Check checkbox. Item order status. Check checkbox. Type. Check.
So I always put name up at the top, and that's all I do.
Move down. Move up.
I move name up at the very top with command up arrow. So as you can tell, it's all the way up at the top.
Button. Okay.
And then I go ahead
button.
and hit OK. I'm actually going to hit cancel. Because, well, I don't want to change anything, and I'm going to go back
additional speech verbosity option
and uncheck this checkbox.
Medium, default, hints, announcements tab, text tab.
Now,
3 of 5.
in the text tab, there's a couple things that I change.
And punctuation, pop-up button.
Punctuation.
Punctuation and symbols.
I set that to some. It's your personal preference. If you've ever used a lot of Windows screen readers, for an example, JAWS, stop, or anything like that, they will give you an option to set your punctuation. If you have it set to high, it'll read all the punctuation. If you have it set, in fact, we can just go in here.
Most, all,
most,
checkmark,
some,
none,
or none. I keep it on some. In fact, I think that's the
default.
Yeah, that's the default actually.
Some, okay.
And
repeated
punctuation.
First 3 times.
I don't mess with that.
While typing, speak. Nothing. While typing, speak. Pop-up
So
button.
while typing,
Choose the amount of
speak.
feedback for typing.
As you can tell, the help tag said this.
Choose the amount of feedback for typing.
Choose the amount of feedback for typing. You have characters, words, both characters and words, and nothing. I set it to nothing. Okay.
When moving the cursor.
When moving the cursor.
Speak text the cursor passes. When moving the cursor, pop-up button.
So
Choose which words to speak when navigating.
You're going to have to play with this because this is very hard to explain. The way that you edit text on iOS and on macOS 10 is a lot different than editing text on Windows. If you were to move the word, how do I put this? If you were to move the word, move by word to the right with your option right arrow.
Yeah.
Then when you set this to
menu checkmark, speak text the cursor. Checkmark, speak text the cursor. Speak text checkmark, speak text to the right of the cursor.
Speak text to the right of the cursor. When you move to the word to the very left or to the right, you can just use Option Shift right arrow to select it and Option Shift left arrow to deselect. And I will get into selecting text in a different video, and we'll come back to VO Utility and show you these options. I prefer to leave it at default because I'm used to it, because I've used Mac for so long. So, yeah, I just leave it at default. But anyway, let's go to the right.
When text attributes change.
When text attributes change.
Do nothing. When text.
By default, it's set to do nothing, I think. Maybe.
Let me reset my preferences quick, and I'll let you know.
Mute microphone.
Actually, I think it's set to
Menu
speak
checkmark. Checkmark. Speak
attributes, I think.
You know what? It is set to speak attributes. I always turn that off for whatever reason. Because we're going to talk... Stop! Let me lock this Victoreader stream. We'll get to that in another video too, but right now we're on the Mac. Yeah. We'll get to activities here in this, because for some applications I have activities set, although what's weird is on both of my Macs I haven't set them up yet, but I'll get to that later on.
When encountering a misspelled word.
When encountering a misspelled word.
Play tone.
Now I have that set to play a tone. I don't like having it say misspelled. I wish you could change that on iOS, but that's a different rant. All right, so
when encountering a link/attachment.
Now this one by default is set to speak. And I have it to play a tone because it's a lot more better, and especially if you remember Mountain Lion and earlier, the tone was very beep, beep, beep. It was always high-pitched. And it was very annoying and very odd, okay? So I always have it set to play tone.
Play tone.
But I'll go through the options here.
Change pitch. Speak. Do nothing. Speak.
We have speak. Change pitch. So change pitch, what that'll do is when you see a link or attachment, like in an email message for an example.
Checkmark. Play tone.
It'll lower the pitch.
Play tone.
But
read numbers as words.
Now, by default, read numbers as it sets it to digits. But I always set it to words because I hate hearing 100000 because it makes me think more, and I want to think less. But anyway,
When reading a capital letter, change pitch.
when reading a capital letter, you can set that
When
accordingly.
deleting text, play
Yeah.
tone.
When deleting text,
pop-up.
I have it set to play a tone.
I have my capitals to speak tone. I don't know. I mean, play tone. I don't know why, but that's, I guess, just personal preference.
It's personal preference, and like I said, you can go through here and see what you like and see what you don't like. But what my thing is for this video is to kind of show you what I change. But you can set it to however you want and to however it pleases you.
Words are separated by punctuation and
Words are separated by. I don't mess with this,
help button.
and that's it.
Toolbar.
Now, while Crayton's doing that, I also want to mention, if you guys want to see my preferences that I have set up, let me know in the comments below, or we'll see if we can get our contact information down below, so you guys can ask me, Gabriel, can you do your voiceover preferences? We saw Crayton's, but we want to see yours. We just don't want to cram it all in one video, because
Yeah, it'd take way too long.
A lot of preferences, yeah. So if you guys want to see that, let us know below.
Yes. Just comment
It's
and
1930.
oh, thank you. And we will. Gabriel, I'm sure, will do a video on that and
yes.
probably upload it. But anyway,
Speech.
in this speech now,
Mute category. Mute voices. Selected. Pronunciation tab.
I don't change
Mute
really a
capital
whole
rate,
lot in
hit, button,
here.
Out 55 default default pitch 1 50 help but additional voice options unchecked checkbox check additional voice options checkbox
You know, you can
content additional voice options
play around in here, but
toolbar
honestly, I don't play around with speech in the VO utility unless I'm adding a voice.
navigation
Now, in navigation, let me find the preference here.
initial keyboard grouping step mouse ignores voiceover cursor mouse pointer
Okay, well,
Toolbar.
in here, I really don't change anything, really.
web
Web. Now, I do change something in here.
navigation selected page loading tab 2 of web router navigate web page dumb order grouping items group items within speak column navigate image always enable live region
Okay, now what I'm going to do
page loading
is go to page
press
loading.
selected tab 2 of
I was just looking in the navigate tab,
navigation
in the
tab.
navigation tab, because I wanted to make sure that there wasn't anything that I was missing. So,
web router tab when loading a new web page
when loading a new web page, I always
speak web page summary
change this.
when loading a new web page speak web page summary when loading a new web page uncheck checkbox
I don't think this is checked
Yeah, it is.
by default. Oh wait, yeah, it is.
Because what I noticed when I was on Mountain Lion VM is whenever I load up a web page, it'll start reading the web page. So it's good to disable
Wait,
that. If you
webpage
guys don't
summary
want it to
when
read the
loading
web
new
page
webpage.
to you
Uncheck
while
checkbox.
you're loading it, you just want it to load and you want to read it yourself without it automatically
Yeah.
reading, recommend.
The
Again,
option-
these settings are personal preference.
The option that we're on now, though, is speak a web page summary, and this might be nice if you were coming from a screen reader that would read you the web page summary, and that's nice, but VoiceOver will read you how many tables, how many headings, how many links, how many form controls, blah, 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 blah. It'll read you everything, and I don't like that.
Me neither.
So I always make sure that that's unchecked, and by default it is.
automatically speak a web page when loading a new web page uncheck checkbox
Now, Gabriel was just talking about this. This is checked by default, and I always make sure that
I uncheck that.
I uncheck that as well, because that gets quite annoying.
while a web page loads
While a web page loads,
I have mine set to play
speak
tone.
progress while a web page
you can change it to whatever you want. There's speak progress, play tone, or do nothing.
help button
And that's
Toolbar.
all I change in the web.
sound
In the sound, I always go in here and uncheck enable
enable audio ducking
audio ducking. I always uncheck that because that's checked by default.
visuals commanders
Now commanders, oh boy. We'll get into keyboard commander another time because
Pad.
yeah, and trackpad.
Yeah.
Because I could spend all day talking about keyboard commander. However, I will go into keyboard commander really quickly. Since I'm on the Mac Mini and I don't have a Magic Trackpad connected,
I'll have to do the trackpad one.
Yeah. Or either of us can, because we both have MacBook Airs, by the way. So I will go
Keyboard tab.
into the keyboard. The only option that I change in here,
Quick nav tab and use. Both options.
I have it set to use both option keys. And by the way, when you do change it, when you do change this, it will come up with an alert telling you blah 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 blah. You're changing blah blah blah. This might affect certain thingies, and you can just ignore that. All right. So Braille. I always go in here. If you're a Braille user,
layout displays Braille display. No display. English unified Braille translation. Pop-up.
Now I always change this.
Menu check Dutch. Check English United Kingdom. English US.
To English.
Choose the menu. English.
No.
Present.
Wait. I always keep
Braille
it at default. What am I thinking?
English unified.
English unified is English UEB. UEB is becoming, at least here in the States, one of the most popular Braille translations. In fact,
Yeah, I have to use it a lot now.
I do too. So like on products like the Braille Sense and things, I have that set. So on Mac OS 10, I also have it set.
Show contracted Braille. Uncheck checkbox.
Show contracted Braille. I'm surprised I haven't went through and set this up yet.
Check show contracted.
I always set that because I hate grade 1.
Show a.braille. Dimmed uncheck checkbox.
Show a dot Braille. That's dimmed, obviously.
Use automatic Braille translation. Checked checkbox. Use dot 7 and 8 to indicate voiceover cursor. Checked checkbox.
That can get kind of annoying. If you've ever used Braille on Mac OS 10, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Status cells. Show general display status cells. Checked checkbox.
Okay, now I'm going to uncheck all status cells.
Uncheck show text style status cells. Uncheck checkbox. Check show uncheck show extended text style status cells. Uncheck check show status on V. Left show status on V. Dim selected radio.
Well, obviously it's dim because all the status crap is unchecked. On any Braille device, like a note taker or even iOS, they give you options to set for status cells, and status cells represent like the status of things, the status of things. It's all personal preference, but I always uncheck it, and I'm surprised I haven't gone through here yet and set up the Braille. Yeah. But we will talk about now Braille in a different podcast, or not podcast, but a different video. But the problem is with Braille, for me at least, I do not have a Braille display with a Braille keyboard on it.
I do.
But Gabriel does. I can talk about connecting a Braille display.
We can do. I can do some demonstrations if you guys. Well, I kind of want to as well.
Yeah, because
I will do some because there are almost like 2 ways to connect a Braille display.
There's Bluetooth and USB. By the way, Bluetooth, I believe you can hook. Well, regardless, on Mac OS 10, you can hook up to, I believe, 6 Braille displays.
I believe so. I'm not sure.
I've never tested it because I do not have
that many
Braille displays, and if I did, I would test it.
I only have 2, but I'm sure 2 would work fine.
Wait, you have 2?
I have a Braille pen and then the Apex.
Oh, okay. See, I have 2 as well, but they do not have Braille keyboards on them. But anyway,
Right, show status. Show alert messages for duration. Checkbox.
Okay, now this is kind of important.
1 second. Show.
I always leave it at default.
Long. Help button.
Now under Braille, that's all I change. Activities. Now this is going to be interesting, and I might come back to this in another tutorial because activities are awesome. So basically, what they allow you to do is if you go into an application like TextEdit and you want to check all your punctuation, you want to check all the text attributes, you can set up an activity to where it'll switch to it automatically. I can show you how to do that.
Set up activities to customize VoiceOver for specific uses. Activities, empty table.
Now that's empty.
Click Add to create an activity. Add button.
So I'll hit Add.
Activity. Press add button.
Now, it lands me in a field, so what I can do is just type in a name. I'm going to type in
Selection replaced. E.
text.
X.
I can't type tonight. Text edit. And,
Stop interact.
and stop interacting with the table.
Choose settings to include in this activity. Activities table, row 1 of 1. Activities. Text edit. Select.
And
Choose verbosity. Uncheck. Checkbox.
verbosity. You can choose different settings.
Set. Verbosity. Web. Uncheck. Checkbox. Set. Web. Dimmed button.
And they're dimmed right now because I don't have any checked.
Hotspots. Additional. Use this activity for apps and websites. Menu button.
Now, you can have different activities also set for different websites. That's new in El Capitan. You did not have this before. But we're just going to choose...
Mail. Finder. QuickTime. Skype. Webs. Other. Deselect all. Deselect all. Other app ellipsis.
We'll go to Other App.
Press Other app ellipsis. App. 2 rows added.
Okay.
Amadeus Pro. App. Text edit.
And we'll choose Text Edit.
Utility categories. Table. Activities. Help. Action. But. Remove. But. Add. But. Text edit. Use this activity for add. Remove.
Now,
button,
there's an
button.
action here.
Menu. Duplicate activity. Reset activity to reset activity to voice over default settings.
So, you can do different resettings and duplicate activities, but
Remove. Remove.
we're going to actually remove this activity.
Press remove but delete.
And we'll hit
button.
delete.
Add button.
But doing activities is just so easy. We'll come back to that and kind of demonstrate how you do it for different applications. So I don't do any activities for different websites, but you can. Look on AppleVis because they have a guide to that, and we're not going to cover that here, but let me just say that that's basically all that I change. If you guys want Gabriel's preferences, I'm going to quit VO Utility and go back into my recording software.
No. Mute microphone.
If you guys want Gabriel's preferences as well, then comment and we'll see it and we'll hop right on it.
Although, anyway, I might do it anyway just to make sure we don't get any comments.
Yeah, that's probably not a bad idea.
Yeah. So I might do it after this video, I don't know, but I'll let Crayton upload his first so it's not confusing.
Yeah, but that's pretty much all I changed. Like I said, we're going to come back to a few things about, when the cursor passes text and all that, but we'll come back to that when we talk about editing text. And then I'll come back to the different commanders like trackpad, keyboard, numpad. I'll come back to. It works best if you have an Apple keyboard. And the reason why, although Windows keyboards also have this, you can hook one up. Like if you have a Mac laptop, you can hook up a Windows keyboard to it, and you can use numpad commander. But we'll talk about those commanders in a different podcast, video in this case. I'm so used to doing audio work because that's all I've been doing over the past, I don't know how long, about past day or so. So anyway, that pretty much wraps up this video, and thank you so much for listening.
Peace.